Oh man, it's early in the morning. Well, it is an early morning and we are waiting in line to get inside to look at some horses. Alrighty, good morning from the beautiful Churchill Downs in Louisville, Kentucky. So we're here early in the morning to check out Dawn at the Downs. So this year's the 150th running of the Kentucky Derby. And at Dawn at the Downs, they actually show you the Oaks and Derby horses, and they work out in the morning, and you can come for free and check it out. So it's pretty awesome. All right, let's go. All right, so how this actually works is they let you in at 7 in the morning, but they start lining up way earlier than that. And today, it is the last day. It's a Wednesday. So there's a huge crowd. If you really want to see it, it's probably better to come earlier in the event. So they started last Thursday, and there's far less people. Just as a little pro tip, the Derby and the Oaks horses will be out from 7:30 to 7:45. So it's a really, really short window, and it happens really, really fast. But it's a really cool treat to see all these horses that are coming out. You know, and you actually get to see them live before the big crowds for the races are here. So the way they identify the horses, you've got Oaks horses are in pink silks, and then the Derby horses are in yellow silks. So keep that in mind when you're watching the video. So as I said earlier, this is the 150th running of the Kentucky Derby. Think about that just for a minute. 150 years of horse racing. It's a long time. A lot of things have changed in 150 years. So to be part of this and to be able to see the horses continue to run out here, I think is a really, really neat thing. All right, this is what I call the calm before the storm. So here's a nice look at this front side here. We can see the finish line. So here's what they do right before they let the horses out. Make this dirt all nice. That's how you know it's coming up. As soon as they wrap this up, the horses will be out. What a pretty sunset today as well. You can't beat that. And here's the other thing that they do. Water the dirt. Got to make sure you got a nice surface for the horses to run on, right? Then the other tractors will come through one more time after this.
Here we go, finally diving into the action. We finally get to see these Kentucky Oaks and Derby horses with their morning workouts. It happens really fast, so you'll notice that I'm jumping around a lot, and that's because my phone is mounted to the top of my digital SLR, so I can do double duty. But you're basically seeing it how I saw it. Here's Leslie's Rose, who is an Oaks contender trained by Todd Pletcher. Good look at her right here. And here's Anna Marie, who is a Derby contender who got a lot of attention due to its trainer, Whit Beckman, who was actually in the hospital about a week prior to the Derby. Here's our first peek at Mystic Dan, who actually won the Derby this year. So it's cool to see him out.
Yeah, that's fierceness right there. So that's a favorite.
here is Sierra Leone, who was the second favorite going in the Derby. Coincidentally, also finished second. And here's Jin Jin, trained by local Louisvillian Brad Cox. And here's actually our first look at Torpedo Anna, who actually won the Oaks this year, trained by Kenny McPeek.
Morning.
Here's Chad Brown, trained horse Ways and Means. Derby horse Resilience, trained by Bill Mott. And here's Just FYI, who is actually the daughter of the last Triple Crown winner, Justify. And here's Tarifa, who is another Brad Cox trained horse. And again, Torpedo Anna, who won the Kentucky Oaks.
And then that guy, he's called an outright. No, they don't. They're watching the horses to see if the others get. They didn't have that for the longest time. I hope they don't have it.
Man.
And here's Just a Touch, who is another offspring of Justify. Here's our first look at West Saratoga, who has an interesting story. This horse was only bought for $11,000, trained by Larry Demerit. By comparison, Sierra Leone was purchased for $2.3 million.
Didn't expect them to take off there.
Beautiful. It was a beautiful spot. Restaurant and look at that. The short was in front.
And here's another look at Sierra Leone, whose purchase price I mentioned earlier, and I believe it is the most expensive horse that was in the race.
Well, can you get like the finish line in? I'll go over there a little more. Here. There we go.
And here's Track Phantom, who is trained by Steve Asmussen, who has actually won the most races for any trainer that has a horse in the field. Interestingly enough, he has actually never won the Kentucky Derby. It has eluded him to this point. Here we get a cool slow-mo of Just FYI. I just like how it looks when you slow down. The horses kind of running at full tilt. Here's Catching Freedom, who is another Brad Cox horse.
I guess by now you see I'm not coming. Yeah. Can you even get in? Yeah, like you said.
And another look at Derby winner Mystic Dan. Also of interest, and a very rare feat, is Mystic Dan and Torpedo Anna were both trained by Kenny McPeek and jockeyed by Brian Hernandez. It's very rare that the combo wins both the Oaks and the Derby in the same year. And here's another look at Just FYI, and as I mentioned earlier, she is the offspring of Justify, who is the last Triple Crown winner. Also, all three horses sired by Justify in this year's races all have Just in the name. Well, that's just interesting, right? And here's Resilience, trained by Bill Mott, who is actually the final horse of the day that is competing in either the Oaks or the Derby.
But just for getting pictures, this is still fun.
Now we get into all the other horses who are not competing in the Oaks or the Derby who get in their morning workouts. And they will actually be out here until 10:30. Unfortunately, I had to go into work, so I had to leave shortly after this.
Yeah, I think 12:45. Oh, are they?
Hey, Russ, we're ready.
Gosh, I forget. Your mom said that's what the daughter does. It's a rider. Is that actually her?
And honestly, I find it better than hand holding the phone, even.
Yeah, I mean, you know, smooth. That's what that's for.
Yeah, so you got this mount here, which you can put anything. It's got threads in it.
I like my fingers anyway.
No, he's a good boy.
Yeah.
That's pretty. I think he paid like $1 million for it. He's a good horse.
Yeah. He looks super happy.
That's okay. So like I said earlier, it's the calm before the storm. So here's here's some of the betting windows inside. This whole area will be totally packed later on today and the rest of the week for all the races.
And here we are walking into the brand new paddock area. This is quite the sight to see, as this is the first unveiling that the public can actually see the new paddock.
Here is this brand new, newly renovated paddock area. This cost Churchill Downs a phenomenal amount of money, but it is nice, new, lots more seating, or standing area I should say here, but there is seating up top. You got the iconic twin spires, signature of Churchill Downs.
So So I mentioned cost earlier. The reported cost of this paddock is $200 million of investment by Churchill Downs. One thing that is kind of interesting is behind these stalls, they have one-way glass, so patrons that are inside the building can actually look out and see the horses, but the horses can't see them, so that's kind of cool. And of course you got to buy merch someplace, right? So here you go. And then here's a look at some of the roses that'll probably be put in random displays around the track. So these are just pretty to look at. Out here on the concourse, they actually have some garbage cans that are decorated by artists and celebrate some of the early winners of the Kentucky Derby and their jockeys. You'll also see various jockey statues. And of course, there's got to be a bourbon barrel out here. Woodford Reserve is always well represented at the Derby as a sponsor. But it's cool to see these out on the concourse. Here's another one of these garbage cans. I mean, every one of these are totally different. I think it's really neat. It's a way to dress it up a little bit. Here's a popular spot out on the concourse where you can take pictures in front of a wall of flowers. Always a big hit. Here we have a couple bronze statues of two people that are synonymous with Churchill Downs. The first being Colonel Matt Wynn, who brought Churchill Downs and the Kentucky Derby into prominence in the early 1900s. The second belongs to John Asher. John was a former award-winning journalist before becoming the Vice President of Communications at Churchill Downs, a position he served in from 1999 till his death in 2018.
Here you go. The red carpet that you see all the celebrities on, this is it. Getting it ready. Look at me, I'm on the red carpet. Wonder if any of the paparazzi is going to come after me. Probably. What's up, everyone? This is Editing Corey. Well, I'm actually doing this at home because obviously I didn't shoot a intro to this segment while we're on site. But in this segment, I'm going to show you the photos that I captured at the event. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick one photo for each of the horses that we saw and present them to you guys for those that are interested. You know, obviously if you're not into photography, you can go ahead and skip ahead and I'll catch you on the next one. But for those that do enjoy photography, I'll show you what I got. And like I said, we'll do one of each horse. I think at the end of the day, we ended up seeing 14 horses from each of the races. So 14 Oaks horses and 14 Derby horses, which is a pretty good number. Just off the top of my head, I know that we didn't see any of the Dwayne Lucas horses, and we didn't see either of the Japanese horses, which were also pretty heavily favored in the Derby race as well. So they probably came out at different times that I was actually not at the event. So, you know, not necessarily surprised. You don't always see everything that you're hoping to see. But we did see a good number of the field for both races, which is cool. Hopefully you'll enjoy those. And for those that are not into photography, I'll catch you in the next one. But those that dig it, here we go. Let's check it out. Hope you enjoy. And I think that's going to do it for us today. So hopefully you enjoyed that video. Got to see some cool horses. I'll probably have to see in post who we're actually looking at because I can't tell on the fly. So I'll put those captions in afterwards. But if you enjoyed this video, you know, I invite you to subscribe and you can kind of keep up with what I am doing. And, you know, see what else I get into. But again, we're here at Churchill Downs, wrapping up. Until next time, I'll see you somewhere. Have a good one.